Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Eakin, and this is View from the Pits, the official new podcast of the Maple Leafs. Today I have with me Damon Topolie, the manager of the Maple Leafs, to discuss the passing of Jack Dominico and what the future of the Maple Leafs holds after his passing. Damon, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
I just want to ask you first about your relationship with Jack. Going back to when you first met him, what do you first remember about meeting him, and what were your first impressions of Jack?
Well, you can see the sort of smirk on my face because that's how you meet Jack. He was a character. There, like everybody has a unique story of a Jack story. It was when I first came to the league. It was 1995. I was actually playing for the Stratford Hillers. We got to the finals against the Leafs, and Jack, in passing, said, "Topolie, why aren't you playing for me? You're from North Bay. I'm from North Bay. You should be playing for me." I said, "Well, Jack, you never called." So 3 years later, the day after, I guess Stratford had announced at a league meeting that they were no longer going to operate in 1998. I got a phone call in my dorm room at 7 a.m. This is when I was at school in Tennessee at Tusculum College in Greenville, Tennessee. So my phone rang at 7 a.m. and my roommate, who's Todd Ireland, his older brother Wayne had played for the Leafs. So he recognized the voice right away. He's like, "I know that voice. You got a phone call at 7 a.m. Here, you better get on this, take the call." And it was Jack saying, "Stratford folded, they're out. I'm calling you now, so you're coming to play for me." And that's my Jack story and how it started with Jack. And I've been with the franchise ever since. So since 1998.
What did it mean to you to play that first game, more so at Christie Pitts, knowing that you're playing for Jack, you had that Leaf hat on, and you were officially a Maple Leaf?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it was kind of weird because we were such rivals. Like I said, we were in the finals. We had a 3-1 lead on them in the finals, and they came back and beat us. And to this day now, he's never let me live that down. He's like, "We beat you," and I'm like, "I know." and that's just how Jack was. He always let you know where you stood. But yeah, no, like it was kind of weird, but it was kind of awesome at the same time. And like I said, I've been with the team ever since. And it's just a unique place to play. You look at it, you're like, it's a public park, but you do have a home field advantage. Like last year in the playoffs, it was pretty awesome to see the fans, the way they came out in droves, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to Jack, at what moment did it officially hit you that you're a Maple Leaf and that this is somewhere you want to be for the next 10, 15, and in your case, 25 years?
Yeah, I don't think I saw it like that at the beginning, but it was, like I said, it's the biggest city in Canada. It's a media, I guess you could say, spectacle or like Mecca. And it's when you get that kind of attention to play and people know who you are, and to be talked about and you're almost in the same, not the same category as the hockey team, basketball team, or even the football team or soccer team, but we're up there in terms of sports franchises in the city. And that's really cool to me.
Right. And yeah, this franchise over the last 2 decades, 3 decades have had a lot of great players, right? You go back to the Butler brothers, Paul Jarek, and the
Yep.
peak moment for this franchise, I guess you can say, perhaps since you became, a member of the Maple Leafs, was back in 2007. You look at the Final Batflip, the place was absolutely packed. Game 7, you kind of stopped that Brantford dynasty from being an absolute amazing dynasty of 8 straight championships or whatever it could have been. A night
Yep.
like that, does that kind of look back at it as maybe one of the great nights in Maple Leafs history, at least since you became a member of the team?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like we weren't getting a lot of like video or media play. Like there was no YouTube, and now you're seeing people play that clip all the time on YouTube. Like it's pretty awesome. And we've had great games there. Like the game 4 we had last year in the finals rivals that game because the amount of people that were there and the attention that we got. There's a lot of great things that have happened at Christie Pitts, and that's one of the great things about this franchise.
Yeah, and you just mentioned a lot of great memories have happened at Christie Pitts, a lot of great moments. Do you have any favorite Jack moments over the years, whether it be stuff that's happened on the field, or maybe more importantly, maybe more interesting stuff off the field?
Oh, there's been lots off the field, but Jack had this unique way about him. Like, yeah, he would sound pretty hard on you at the beginning, but he really cared about you. And he wouldn't tell you specifically, but you kind of knew after a second or third phone call sometimes. His favorite toy was the telephone. And anybody who's played for him knows that, or even anybody who's had a phone call with him knows that was his tool of choice. He wasn't a guy to text, that's for sure. But he always let you know where you stood, and like there's so like they're just flooding in my mind right now. There's so many great things. Like I had this, special relationship with him where for about a 10-year span, we would have breakfast every Sunday morning before a game at Christie Pitts, like early morning breakfast. Like we were at the park by 10 after breakfast. So like I got to see a side of him that probably a lot of people don't know about him. They saw Jack in the green press box at Christie Pitts or walking up and down the hill selling the coffee pot draw tickets. Like he wanted to be with the people. Those were his people. He wanted to sell. He was the ultimate salesman. I'm in sales because of him, because I learned from him. He was the best. And those are the memories that I remember. There's not one specific one, but there's just a ton of them.
Right. And I was going to ask you about his business model, right? You look at Christie Pitts, there's no tickets. You can't sell a ticket from Christie Pitts, so you can't obviously make money off of that. This what made him so special in terms of being able to run this franchise in a way that no other organization runs itself in North America.
Yeah, he was literally a door knocker. Like he wasn't afraid or shy. He would go talk to anybody to tell him about the team or sell the team or sell an ad. He was constantly selling. And I've had opportunities to go to like an Etobicoke Sports Hall of Fame dinner where I met a Ron McLean, and he complimented Jack on his selling ability. Like you said, there's no gate, and this is a gate driven league. And how do you survive for 53 years with no gate? But the model that he had with the programs and the dinner, and like I said, he was constantly selling the team. Even in the winter, we would go to an OHL hockey game. He was wearing this hat. Like that's why I'm wearing that, as a tribute to him, because he loved this logo and he loved this brand. And he loved this team.
Right. Yeah. And one of the things you just touched on was how can a franchise survive for 53 years without making money off of gates and stuff like that. And since his passing a couple of weeks back, a lot of people have been asking what's the future of this franchise now with his passing. And I was just kind of asking an open-ended question in terms of that, because obviously you're the one with the answer, and a lot of people want to know the answer. So just what's the state of the franchise now that he's passed on?
Well, the things haven't changed. It's going to be the same team, at least for the short term. Probably the next couple of years, it's going to be run the same way it's been run in the past. You'll see the ads in the outfield. There may be one program, maybe not two. I don't think you'll see the dinner, because that took a lot of work, and that was his pride and joy. That was the one thing he loved doing on his own. He loved picking up the phone and selling tickets to the dinner. I don't know if we'll have the same format, but it's kind of tough anyways. We didn't have it in 2021 because of COVID anyways. So there's certain things we couldn't do anyways. Like I said, we couldn't have a big forum or gathering like that at a banquet hall anyways. So the ad revenue is still something that we'll still be able to do. We'll still be able to put the signs up in the outfield, but the team's going to be run as it's been run in the last 53 years. It's no different. I was heavily involved in player acquisition and bringing players on. I always had Jack's blessing. I just don't have him there anymore.
Right. And obviously now you mentioned about the fact that you've been pretty much the guy for the last few years anyway. When it comes to that, how nice would it be for this upcoming season to end that season in a championship, especially for Jack?
Yeah, well, I'll call it unfinished business, right? To be so close. And well, it was winner take all, literally, right? It was game 5. You can't do any better. Everybody played to the last game of the year. So, yes, it was disappointing to lose that game, but it's right where we wanted to be. And it would, it has to, I don't say it has to, but that's the goal. Is it's championship or nothing, right? We want to be back in that same position, or at least have that same opportunity to finish what we started.
For sure. And it's going to be a great 2022 season. I know you're doing a lot of great work on and off the field to make it possible. And I'm looking forward to covering it for the team this season. So thanks for coming on today, Damon.
Yeah. And thanks for coming aboard, Ryan. Appreciate you.
Happily. Happy to be here. Love it.